You're watching A Closer Look. To conclude our episode, we placed a spotlight on a corruption campaign that aims to disseminate vital information to school-age children.
Corruption is a problem that undermines democratic institutions and stifles economic growth, and it affects countries all over the world, including Papua New Guinea. As a recently established non-political and not-for-profit youth-led local NGO, their focus as the Political Science Society of Papua New Guinea is on combating corruption and promoting good governance, transparency and accountability in Papua New Guinea, and in partnership with the National Democratic Institute. Over the last month, they have been working with schools across Papua New Guinea to raise awareness about corruption and its effects on society. They believe that young people have a critical role to play in promoting good governance and transparency. By educating students about corruption and its effects on society, we can empower them to take a stand against corruption and to be agents of change in their communities. The Political Science Society of Papua New Guinea spoke to some students from Dilasel Bomana Secondary who gave their understanding of what corruption is.
It is the culture of nepotistic patronage, parochialism, bribery, and the pillage of the state, making or creating a society where there is no fair concern for all its citizens.
A culture of corruption sees gaining of wealth and power through shortcuts as more effective and responsible way rather than to gain by means of sweat and merit. The acquisition of wealth, job and contract to political connection and laying foundation of crime, bribery and nepotism have become prevalent.
Corruption stops economic growth, moral decays and inequality emerges. It is an antisocial behavior and a plague that has eaten deep into the entire fabric of the country. We cannot accept this corrupt culture if we want a better future.
Papua New Guinea is a Christian country built for equality, respect and prosperity for our people. Transparency International (PNG) has defined corruption as the abuse of trusted power for private gain. It adds everyone whose life, livelihood or happiness depends on the integrity of people in position of authority. PNG can do away with corrupt practices through good governance by intellectual bureaucrats from public sector, private sector and down to the individual citizens. Corruption at all levels must not be given room to breathe.
Corruption is a destructive force that has negative impacts on every aspect of a society. By prioritizing good governance and collaborations between individuals from the public and private sectors, we can combat corruption and create a society that values fairness and equal opportunities for all citizens. It is crucial that we work towards a future where corruption is not accepted and where hard work and merit are valued over shortcuts and illicit gains. The NGO believes that young people have a critical role to play in promoting good governance and transparency, and by educating the next future generation about corruption and its effects, which hopes to empower them to be agents of change in their communities. Students from Badihagua Secondary School were interviewed on corruption and to get their understanding on the different forms of corruption can take.
There are 4 forms of corruption that we know of: fraud, political corruption, grand corruption and sextortion. Fraud. Fraud means to cheat, or fraud is the offense of intentionally deceiving someone in order to gain an unfair or legal advantage, for instance, financing, political or otherwise. Political corruption. Political corruption is the implementation of policies, institutions and rules of procedure in the allocation of resources, financing by the decision maker who abuse their position to sustain their power, status and wealth.
Grand corruption is the abuse of high-level power that benefits the few at the expense of many and causes serious and widespread harm to the individuals and the society. Conflict of interest. A situation where an individual or organization for which they, whether a government, business, media outlet, or civil society organization, is confronted between the duties and demands of their position and their own private benefit. Sextortion. A situation where someone in authority persuades someone under their favor or control of their money, explicit images, or even sexual favors.
Corruption through the use of phones have also become worse as illegal exchange of agreements and financial guarantee from public to private gain. Corrupt deals over the phone are evident, and this way of corruption is adding fuel to the underlying corrupt norms and practices in the country.
Corruption is widespread and endemic. It penetrates all levels of society. From the top level, the government, here corruption is shown through instability of the government's affairs and weak enforcement of rules, resulting in a burdensome and a weak state that lacks the capacity to deliver the most basic services. Other forms of corruption at this level would also include bribing, misappropriation of public funds and resources, and also an ineffective security system resulting in drug shipment and both legal logging and fishing. At the grassroots level, corruption ties an existing trust relationships that are largely based on clan loyalties, which are often known as nepotism or one-talk system or one-talkism in PNG.
Corruption can take on many forms, from grand corruption at the top level of government to petty bribery and nepotism at the grassroots level. It's a complex issue that affects all levels of society and has serious consequences for individuals and communities, but it doesn't have to be like that. By raising awareness about corruption and holding those in power accountable, we can start to make a difference. We have to change our mindset and start holding people accountable, because that's the only way we can tackle this issue. The Political Science Society of PNG will continue to carry out the conversation and work towards a more transparent and accountable society in Papua New Guinea. Young people can play a crucial role in combating corruption and promoting good governance, transparency and accountability in society. As a non-political and not-for-profit youth-led NGO, the Political Science Society of Papua New Guinea is dedicated to this cause. In partnership with the National Democratic Institute, have been working with schools across Papua New Guinea to raise awareness about corruption and its effects. By educating young people about corruption and empowering them to take action, we can build a better future for Papua New Guinea. Students from Kwikila Secondary School were interviewed to get their thoughts on how youth can contribute to combating corruption.
Create, build, develop or introduce programs that will support youths to be active citizens, support good governance and empowerment building.
To be an active citizen, information on corruption needs to be obtained. There has to be freedom to raise voice using the constitutional rights to strengthen anti-corruption organizations and raise awareness about how corruption impacts local communities. In doing so, reports on corruption can be actively lodged to authorities like PNG ICAC, TIPNG, OC, AGO, DJAG or RPNGC, or any watchdog individual or groups where possible and appropriate actions can be taken to address corruption.
The civil society and the grassroots have played an important role in highlighting corruption while they have been facing numerous challenges. There are many local civil society organizations who lack resources, and as a result, they have been unable to sustain their operations.
PNG has a long tradition of civil society groups protesting against and building awarenesses about corruption. Mostly the event-based anti-corruption groups have involved leaders from PNG churches, civil society organizations, and universities.
Corruption is a serious threat to good governance in Papua New Guinea, and it's up to each and every citizen to address this issue. We have seen that civil society and grassroots organizations play a crucial role in highlighting corruption, but they often lack the resources to sustain their operations. However, with the help of government departments, state organizations, and international bodies such as the UNODC, we can work towards promoting transparency, accountability, and participation in public sectors and decision-making. By becoming an active citizen, obtaining information on corruption, and raising awareness about its impacts, we can strengthen anti-corruption organizations and ultimately create a fairer and more equitable society for all.
That's all we have for you on this episode of A Closer Look. Join us same time next week Sunday for another episode. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching and have a pleasant evening.